It started with something small, just a feeling, a cold whisper brushing the back of my neck, warning me that something wasn't right. I'd always taken pride in being the kind of husband who trusted his wife, who believed in the strength of our vows. Lydia and I had been married for 10 years. We had built a life filled with love. Or so I thought. But over the last few months, subtle cracks began to appear. Cracks I tried to ignore but couldn't. Lydia had grown distant. She used to share everything with me. Her thoughts, her worries, even her random dreams. But now she seemed to live in a world I wasn't part of. Her phone became her constant companion. She'd laugh at messages she never showed me, claim she was staying late at work more often, and suddenly became far more invested in how she looked. When I asked about it, she said it was for her self-confidence, but it didn't feel like that. It felt like she was dressing for someone else. Still, I told myself not to jump to conclusions. I didn't want to be the jealous, paranoid husband. I forced myself to believe everything was fine, even when my gut screamed otherwise. Then came the receipt. It was buried in her purse, wrinkled and forgotten beneath a half-eaten granola bar and an old lip balm. A receipt from a fancy downtown restaurant we'd never visited together, a place known for its romantic ambience and candlelit tables. When I asked her about it, she hesitated, stammering something about a work meeting. Her eyes dropped to the floor, avoiding mine, and I knew then that something was seriously wrong. I could have confronted her then, yelled, demanded the truth, but something held me back. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was the need for undeniable proof. If I confronted her too soon, she'd just lie. I'd walk away looking like the insecure husband inventing problems. So I waited. I watched. I became what I never thought I'd be. A man tracking his wife's every move. I started with her phone, watching over her shoulder whenever I could. She guarded it like a secret, always angling the screen away from me. Still, I noticed one name appearing again and again, Cara, but the messages didn't read like they came from a girlfriend. Short, intimate texts at all hours. Asterisk, can't wait to see you, asterisk. Miss you today. My stomach sank every time I read them. One night, while Lydia showered, I used a passcode I quietly memorized weeks earlier and unlocked her phone. My hands shook as I opened her messages. There he was, Mark, the man behind the sweet text. His words were smooth, flirtatious, full of longing. And Lydia? She responded in kind. I miss you. You make me feel alive. Can't wait for our next lunch. That moment broke something in me. I want to confront her, to tear open the bathroom door and demand answers. But a deeper part of me, a colder part, wanted more than just confrontation. I wanted her to feel the weight of betrayal she had laid on me. I wanted her to experience the collapse of a world she thought she had under control. So I waited, and I planned. The perfect opportunity arrived sooner than expected. Lydia had been working on a major project at her marketing firm, a big presentation for a new client that she talked about for weeks. She was excited, anxious, focused. The morning of the big day, I kissed her goodbye and wished her luck. She smiled, lips grazing my cheek, and I wondered if she had kissed Mark the same way. As soon as the door closed behind her, I went into action. A quick trip to a florist, then a copy shop. By noon, I was parked outside the client's office, watching her through the glass. She stood tall, professional, radiant in a sleek black dress. The perfect image of a successful woman, of a loving wife. The irony made my jaw clench. When the delivery driver arrived, I handed him a box. Inside were printed screenshots of her text from Mark and a handwritten note that read, "You're not as clever as you think you are." I made sure it went straight to her. She wasn't expecting it. I watched from my car as she opened the box mid-presentation, probably anticipating flowers or a congratulatory card. What she found instead shattered her. I could see her freeze, color draining from her face. Her hands trembled as she pulled out the papers. Confusion rippled through the room. The clients looked at one another, then at her. I couldn't hear them, but I didn't need to. Her world was crumbling just as mine had. But it wasn't just Lydia I had in mind. Mark wasn't a stranger anymore. He was her coworker, another married man. I'd done my research, found his social media, his address, even the school his kids went to. I thought about dragging his family into this, but I stopped short. Instead, I decided to face him directly. After Lydia's disastrous presentation, I followed her to the cafe where she often met Mark. She sat at a corner table, eyes darting nervously. Mark slid into a seat across from her, and they began talking in hushed voices. I waited. Then I stood and walked toward them. "Mark, isn't it?" I said, standing over their table. He looked up, startled. Confusion flickered into fear. Lydia turned pale. "Who the hell are you?" Mark asked, but he already knew. I dropped a thick envelope onto the table. Photos of them entering hotels, leaving bars, laughing in his car. "I'm the husband," I said, "the man you both been lying to." Mark's face lost all color. Lydia reached for me, tears streaking her face. "David, please. We can talk about this at home." "Oh, we'll talk," I said, pulling my arm away. "But first, I thought Mark might want to know I sent those photos to his wife. And to HR at your company." "You can't do that," Mark stammered. "You'll ruin me." "No," I said, calm and cold. "You ruined yourself. Both of you did." Lydia sobbed, face buried in her hands. Mark sat frozen, unable to speak. I turned to leave, but paused at the door. "Oh, and Lydia," I added, "don't bother coming home. The locks are changed. Your things are in storage. And I've already contacted a lawyer. Good luck explaining this to your parents." Her cries followed me out, but I didn't look back. In the weeks that followed, Lydia tried to reach out. Apologies, explanations, desperate promises to change. I ignored them all. Mark's wife filed for divorce, and he lost his job after HR reviewed the evidence. As for me, I started over, one step at a time. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Lydia and Mark made their choices. Now they had to live with them. And me? I was finally free to live with mine.